What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So I have a question for you. How much money does it take as far as investing your retirement? How much money do you need in order to retire comfortably? And so there was a study done, and the majority of people in this study said that they need about $1.25 million invested in order to retire comfortably. So we're going to take a look at this. There was an article put out by CNBC. We'll take a look at that. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell notification, and then click all. That way you'll get notified anytime I put out a video. I do daily videos here. So by hitting that bell notification, you should be getting notifications every day. If you do not get a notification every day, make sure you let me know in the comment section below. That way I'll let YouTube know. Okay. Also, please consider sharing this video with others. So if you have family members, friends that you think might benefit from the content that we talk about here, please share this video. Okay, let's go ahead. And I want to go right over to this article because this is a pretty interesting article that was posted by CNBC. Okay, so the title of this article says, Americans now say they will need $1.25 million to retire comfortably, survey finds. So very, very interesting. And let's just go down. I put some highlights on this article because some of this stuff is pretty interesting in itself. So as everyday costs increase, Americans now say it will cost more to retire. Okay, adults now say it will take $1.25 million to retire comfortably, a 20% increase from last year. 20% increase from last year. Okay, so now people are looking at this, and this, I'm sure the pandemic had a lot to do with this, but now they're looking at their retirement fund and they're thinking, you know what, I need more money to retire comfortably. The average expected retirement age has also increased to 64. Okay, so it went from 62.6 to 64. Now, this is based on the survey alone. Okay, so this is just how I think they surveyed about 2,000 people, and that's how they came up with this information. So this is not everyone. You might look at this and say, well, this doesn't really go with what I think, but that's just the people that were surveyed. All right. One thing I want to look at here, the average retirement nest egg has fallen 11% to 86,869. And that's down from 98,800 a year ago. Okay. So the average retirement nest egg. So just think about that. The average that a person has in their nest egg for retirement is 98. Well, it was 98,000. It's now 86,000. That's not even close to enough for retirement. So if you are in that situation, my advice to you is to try to invest more. Invest more into your 401k if you can. Start your own investments in mutual funds and things like that. IRA. I mean, you need to have more money than 86,000 in order to retire comfortably. Okay, and obviously the people on this article said 1.2 million. So you're not even close if you're sitting on a nest egg of about 86,000 currently, and you're ready to retire, or you're getting close to retire, maybe 5 years, maybe even 10 years. Okay, so here is the survey sample was 2,381 adults, 18 and up. That's who participated in this. 55% of working Americans feel they are behind in their retirement savings. 55%, the vast majority, the majority of people feel that they don't have enough set aside for retirement. Okay. And so what does that mean? That means that most people will look at this and say, I need to work longer. And that's what, if we move further down, you have people that are saying they feel that they need to work longer. Okay, here it is right here. 25% plan to retire later than they had anticipated. And that's because there's not enough money saved up. So I know when I was in the situation, and fortunately I worked and I was able to receive a pension, which changes things drastically when it comes to, I mean, you don't have a 401k or anything like that. I had a 457 plan, but that was just set aside money. Basically, it was to compensate for about 10%. Okay. But the vast majority of the money that I'm going to receive in retirement, or that I'm receiving in retirement right now, is coming from my pension. And so that's what the focus was for me. Now, if you don't have a pension and you have a 401k or a different plan, you're looking at a situation where that money at some point will run out. And when it runs out, do you have anything to offset that? Social Security, or how much are you going to be receiving in Social Security? Will it be enough to offset so you can live comfortably? So that's something that people are starting to realize with their 401ks and with their other retirement investments. They don't have enough money. And now they're thinking, you know what, I have to work longer. I don't have an option when it comes down to it. And so what are some of these reasons why people are saying that they need to work longer than anticipated? Now, I gave you kind of my idea of the reason. Now, in this survey, 59% said they want to save more money. Okay, so they need to invest more. They need to save more. They don't have enough already saved up for retirement. Other reasons include concerns about rising healthcare costs and unexpected medical costs, with about 45%. And then you had 26% of people saying they are taking care of relatives and friends. And then 24% said they had to dip into their retirement savings. And this is interesting because, like I said, I did have a 457 plan, and it was to offset about 10%. And I did dip into that a couple of times when I was working, not even thinking too much about it. But the danger of dipping in, you can borrow from yourself, basically, is what they're saying. So you can take, let's say you need $8,000. You can take $8,000 out of your retirement, and then you have to pay it back, right? But it doesn't. When it comes down to it, if you can avoid doing that, that's your best option. The reason that I did it was to pay off some bills, pay off some credit cards, and this was a while ago, but it just made sense for me to do that. And like I said, I'm a little different because I'm receiving a pension. If you're not receiving a pension, it's just 401k, then you're solely looking at that amount is very, very important. 457 plan for me is important because of the pension. But if you only have a 457 plan or a 401k and you don't have a pension, you really need to protect that money that you have invested. Okay. So one thing, and one last thing I want to talk about here is the shaky faith in Social Security. Okay, now I continue to talk about this because I think this is very, very important for people to know what's going on when it comes to Social Security. Because if you don't, this could make you do things that you might not normally do, just thinking that Social Security will no longer be there. Okay, so this survey, 45% of respondents said they can imagine a time when Social Security will no longer exist. Okay, so you have people making decisions thinking that Social Security we won't have Social Security anymore. Now, I continue to tell people that is not true. Okay, when it comes to Social Security, we could see cuts. That's a very real possibility. In 10 years, if they don't address the trust fund, we could see cuts to up to 23%. But Social Security will still be there. You will still be able to receive Social Security benefits. And if you're in that situation where you're feeling like, well, Social Security is not going to be there for me, and so I need to do this, or that, that is the wrong way to look at it. And so you need to base it on, and if you want to be very, very conservative with the numbers and conservative with your strategy, base it on, okay, I'll be able to receive about 80% of my Social Security benefits. And the reason that I'm saying that is if they don't address the trust fund, which they will address the trust fund. When I say they, I'm talking about politicians. They'll address it. They have to. There's 70 million people receiving Social Security benefits. And do you think that we're going to allow, or politicians will allow, those 70 million people to see a reduction of 20 to 23%? It's just not going to happen. So they're going to argue back and forth about this whole Social Security trust fund, but eventually they will make a decision, and they will go ahead and address that. And so we won't be seeing this reduction. However, if you're using that, thinking that Social Security won't be there and you won't be able to receive anything when it comes to Social Security, that strategy is not the right strategy to have. And you're listening to people, and there are people that are out there. There are politicians that are out there that are trying to scare you. They're trying to tell you, you know what, Social Security is not going to be there anymore, so let's do something with it. Let's privatize it. Let's do something else because it's no longer going to be there, so you might as well take a little bit as opposed to taking nothing at all. Don't let those people fool you because they're not telling you the truth. It will be there. And the reason that it will be there is because of the payroll tax. When people are working, they're paying into the payroll tax, and that payroll tax is going to Social Security in order to provide benefits right now. Okay, and that's not going to go anywhere unless they get rid of the payroll tax. Okay, that's the only thing that I can see. If they get rid of the payroll tax, well, then yes, there'll be a situation where they could put an end to Social Security. And so that's the only way that they can do it. And if they tried to do something like that, I'm telling you, 70 million people that are currently receiving benefits that are likely voters, it's just not going to happen. You don't want to be that politician that did away with Social Security. So they might try to make little cuts here and there. I mean, you have certain politicians that don't want Social Security to exist the way it is now, and so they might try to make some cuts and privatize it and all that. But when it comes down to it, we will still have Social Security. So you can add that to your retirement. But my advice to you when it comes to Social Security, when it comes to retirement as a whole, try to put as much as possible in your retirement. Start early, because if you wait until you're 55, 60 years old and now you're trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to retire? When am I going to retire? Most people, especially in this survey, they looked at it and they said, wow, I need to work longer than I thought I did. And so it's obvious that these people did not save enough when they had the opportunity. So that's my only advice. If you guys have any questions or if you guys have advice, post it down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.